Hello everybody, it's Sarah, and today I wanted to share with you my thoughts on the recent second season of The Witcher that just came out on Netflix like a week ago-ish, I think. I think it came out last Friday, if I'm not completely wrong. But anyway, I wanted to share my thoughts on that with you and just sit down, not do like a proper review or anything, just have a bit of a chit-chat video. I probably won't go into any specific spoilers. If I have any spoilers in this video, it will be in terms of which characters meet during the season. So if you consider that a spoiler, this might not be a video for you. Otherwise, I will tell you before I get into specific spoilers so you can skip ahead or stop the video. Also, I might look down a lot during this video because once again, I'm late in making my family's Christmas presents. So I'm currently crocheting a sweater for my little sister, and we're just gonna have to multitask so you can get your videos and I can also get the sweater done. But yeah, so first of all, let's once again talk about my thoughts generally on The Witcher and my history with The Witcher, because I didn't do a review for season 1. So I thought I'd just very quickly tell you my thoughts on the first season, just so you know where I started out with my thoughts. In terms of The Witcher, I was first introduced to it when the first season came out. I hadn't read the books and I have never played the games. And so I watched the first season and I did really quite enjoy it. I mean, I thought that the CGI was sometimes quite bad and there were some episodes that I found a bit more boring than others and some storylines that I didn't enjoy as much. However, overall, especially Geralt's story parts, I really enjoyed and I had a lot of fun with it, and it was just, you know, it was the type of bingeable show that I think I watched it in a day basically. I think maybe it was 6 episodes on one day and 2 on the other day, but when it came out I watched for a whole day. So I did genuinely really enjoy the first season, and the first season also made me want to pick up the books, which was my series project for 2020. I read the Witcher books in 2020 and I was not the biggest fan. I really enjoyed the first book, which is the short story book, which also a lot of Geralt's stories in the first season follow that book. So I did enjoy that and I think I gave that 4 stars, but in terms of the main story, I was not the biggest fan. I wasn't the biggest fan of the writing style, the storytelling and so on. And I will leave my full review of the Witcher book series linked down below. So, where does that leave me now for season 2? Actually, I prefer adaptations of books that I don't like, because what that means is I'm not emotionally attached. It's the same thing with the Wheel of Time adaptation right now. I'm not emotionally attached. I don't mind if they change around things. I don't mind if they just generally change things, if they cut out things, if they change characters or whatever, because I'm just not emotionally attached. And if I end up enjoying what is in the adaptation, then I'm just completely fine with that. So, you know, it's not a big deal for me in terms, or wasn't a big deal for me in terms of my excitement for season 2 that I didn't like the books, because I was still excited because, as I said, I did enjoy season 1. So now let's move on to my thoughts of season 2. And I gotta be honest, I have a lot of mixed feelings, because in terms of just my enjoyment of it as a story on its own, I have to be honest, there weren't that many parts that gripped me, and there weren't that many parts that kept my attention a lot. Like, I spent most of the 8 hours that I watched the season crocheting, as I am doing right now, and not really paying that much of close attention, so maybe that influenced something. But then again, usually if you have a show that's very gripping, then you wanna watch it and you wouldn't crochet on the side or something, like be distracted on the side. So yeah, it might have just been a bit of a back and forth where you know, I already wasn't that into it from the very beginning, and then additionally also I was even less into it because I started crocheting while watching the season. So yeah, that's that in terms of story building. I just, you know, was not that excited. But there was something from the books as well. I'm just not that interested in Siri as a character, and a lot of this season obviously revolved around Siri. So yeah, I just wasn't that interested in those parts. I mean, I did quite like that they tried to find a common thread and they created this overarching villain in the story to move along a bit and to have a threat in this season and in this show, because if you have read the books, you will know that there's not that many current threats going on ever in the books, at least what I remember from them, which, gotta be honest, even if it's only been 1 year since I read the last book, I can't remember all that much from the books. They were pretty forgettable to me. So yeah, it was just the type of series that I watched and I was like, it's fine, I'm liking it well enough, but I gotta be honest, I did not have the fun factor that I had in the first season, which, you know, why would there even be a fun factor there? I don't know, it's pretty dark, but there just was a fun factor. Maybe that's also because at least I feel like we got more of Jaskier / Dandelion in the first season, and Dandelion was my favorite character in the books. Jaskier was my favorite character in the show, so, you know, it's just whatever. A few very specific criticisms I have is that the second season completely turned it around on the themes from the first season, because the first season and also the books kind of have a bit of the theme, or at least the short stories in the books have a bit of a theme, like monsters are dying out and what use is there still for witchers, and there's this parallel drawn between monsters and witchers because witchers are also seen as monsters a lot of times by, you know, the general human population of the continent. So there's those types of themes, and those are drawn through the first season. And is there even a use for witches still in a modern world within this series, and so on? And those themes were completely left by the wayside in the second season. And not only that, they weren't just dropped, which is fine, I guess. You know, the themes I feel like were a little bit dropped also in the books. But the themes then completely turned around because suddenly it was all about making more witchers. Which, I mean, there was this thing of witchers being a dying breed, if you want to put it like that, in the first season, but again along the lines of, you know, monsters are dying out and so witchers aren't needed anymore, and what will a witcher do once monsters are gone? But also, should we kill monsters if they are already dying out and close to extinction, and so on? So, you know, you had that, and then suddenly in the second season it's like, oh no, we have new monsters and also we need to make a bunch of new witchers, and how are we gonna do that because we can't make any new witchers? And yeah, that just felt really weird for me, because again it was this very much turnaround on the themes of the first season. So yeah, I just thought it was bad writing, to be honest. And then the other thing, just as visuals go, is that I honestly, I mean, I haven't seen the latest episode in the Wheel of Time, but you know, when I watched this season of The Witcher, I really realized how just refreshing it is watching the Wheel of Time and not constantly being bombarded with objectified women and boobs and butts and whatever. I mean, there is a butt in the first episode of The Wheel of Time, to be fair, but it's a man's butt. So that was very, refreshing to see for a change. And even when you do see naked women in the Wheel of Time, which I don't have anything against nudity, I don't even have anything against full frontal nudity, which I believe, again, not having seen the latest episode, we haven't gotten so far in the Wheel of Time. So I don't have anything against nudity, but there's this specific kind of nudity, the Game of Thrones type nudity, that serves no purpose, that doesn't even serve, like, you know, an aesthetic appealing purpose. It's just there for straight men to ogle women and to not be lost in the world building or exposition or whatever, you know, the Game of Thrones brothel exposition scenes and so on. And I'm just not a fan of that, because again, it objectifies women and it objectifies female characters in a way that's just really uncomfortable to watch. And I mean, to be fair, The Witcher has far less of that than The Wheel of Time. However, first season, first episode of The Witcher, we right away got like just naked women running around in the background, just being pretty and having no names. And then of course in the first season we have the scene with Yennefer, where, to be fair, there's naked men and women, so I don't have anything against that scene in particular. But then the second season of The Witcher, I don't remember if it was the second episode, I think. But in the Witcher Keep thing, which I forgot the name of again because I'm bad with fantasy names, even though I read a lot of fantasy, but there's a bunch of prostitutes there and you see a bunch of boobs and it serves absolutely no purpose whatsoever. And I gotta be honest, I'm just tired of that. I am so tired of women being treated, and it's most specifically women. Of course we then get also scenes like, you know, Jaskier bathing in a stream and being shirtless, which, spoiler alert I guess, but it's not really a spoiler because, again, no context. Of course we get a shirtless Jaskier scene, but the way that's filmed is just way different. And then also you have the difference that you never have these like nameless men just running around, dick out in the background. I mean, not sure I would like to see that, but you know, it's just, yeah, not a fan of that. But that was it in terms of the things that, you know, I very specifically didn't enjoy, because, yeah, I mean, again, overall, I didn't think it was as good as season 1. I didn't enjoy it as much as season 1, at least. But, you know, yeah. Anyway, so moving on to the positive things, I guess. So the storyline is definitely more concise. Is concise the right word? I don't know. I'm tired. But you know, you don't have the multiple timelines and so on as in season 1. So you do have the different plot lines of the different characters, but they're all moving at the same time and they're all kind of moving in the same direction and towards each other. So, you know, that's pretty nice to see. I don't exactly know if that makes it any less confusing than the show was, like, in the first season for a lot of people, I've heard at least, who haven't read the books or played the video games or anything. But, you know, it's more directed, more going in the same direction, so that's nice. Then also something that I really enjoyed is that we got a lot of very interesting and very lovely character interactions. I really loved Geralt's and Ciri's relationship. Again, I don't enjoy Ciri that much as a character on her own, but Geralt's, Yennefer's and Ciri's relationship was also one of the highlights for me from the books. So seeing that come to life, or seeing the beginnings of that come to life within the show, was just very nice and very not nostalgic, but you know, it's a nice feeling. That is what I'm saying. Then I loved, and that is where I'm kind of going into spoilers, because, you know, Geralt and Ciri meeting, not really a spoiler. we got that from the end of the first season. But if you don't know which other characters meet, I guess, you know, don't continue watching right now or skip ahead a few minutes. But in terms of other characters, I surprisingly really enjoyed the side characters. I really enjoyed the Elven Queen and Fringilla and their relationship. I thought that like dynamic was incredibly interesting to watch and to see. I really enjoyed Jaskir's and Yennefer's dynamic. The two of them are so fun, and Yennefer for me is a character where personally, gotta be honest, don't really get the hype around her. I always find her pretty standard. I don't know, she's like nothing outstanding for me, but just seeing her interact with Jaskier was so much fun. Just so much fun. Then I already mentioned that I really enjoy Geralt as a character. I find him to have just, you know, a really interesting disposition. I don't know how to say it, but you know, he's just a grumpy lone man, lone rider type character who adopts a child, and that's just incredibly cute, and that's just a character trope that I very much enjoy, especially because a lot of times those character tropes, you get them from the, you know, child's perspective, who just gets a grumpy mentor, but you don't really get the POV of the mentor that much. But of course, in The Witcher, Geralt is kind of in the center of the story as well, so I really enjoyed that. Then I was really surprised by how many reveals from the books we already got, from things that happen at the very end of the books, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think we gotta see how it plays out in future seasons. So yeah, that's that. And yeah, I think that was it on my thoughts on the second season of The Witcher. Oh, that's what I wanted to mention. I think the CGI improved a lot. Like, I didn't inform myself on the budget or anything like that, but my guess would be that they got a way higher budget than for the first season, because the monsters looked fine. They looked really scary. Also, something else I really enjoyed were all the dynamics among the Witchers. So that was also something really fun to see. Although if we go along the storyline of the books and don't divert as much as in this season, I don't think we'll get to see much more of that in future seasons. Although I might be interested to see that, because they did set up the Witchers as solid characters, and you do have this whole plot line now with creating more Witchers and whatever that goes through the entire series. So not series, entire season. So I think they would have to, you know, look at that again at some point in the next few seasons. But yeah, that was it, I think, for my thoughts on The Witcher season 2. If you have watched this season, leave your thoughts linked down below. If you have watched the first season but haven't watched the second season yet, tell me, are you interested in watching the second season? I gotta be honest, personally, I do still want to watch the third season, and I am still excited to see where it goes. I also gotta be honest, I just really enjoy watching cast interviews, but yeah, that's just a random thing, I guess. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and also maybe subscribe. All the links to my social media are in the description box down below, so go and check those out. All the links to my book club of Queens, Witches and Valkyries, where I read one adult high fantasy book written by a woman or genderqueer person per month, will also be left linked down below, so go and check those out as well. And since I'm not going to upload at Christmas anymore before the 24th, I just want to wish all of you who celebrate Christmas a happy Christmas. Everyone else, just happy holidays. And yeah, I'm now going to go back to finishing this sweater, and I hope I'll see you very soon. Bye!